Hello. We have the box again. Hello. Good evening. Good morning. Good to see you. Familiar faces. Human beings in transformation, in a process. This is our fifth meeting. Today again with Sabine and Benjamin von Mendelssohn. Thank you for coming from a love school. So Sabina is holding and Benjamin is participating in an internal love school, in an intensive course that I would love you to share a bit. Yeah, this is the introduction to love school, and you come from a love school, and I wish you to bring some diamonds from there. Thank you for coming in these intense days. And thank you for appearing again and for staying with your commitment and with your openness, with your shining eyes. And the issue of today is a commitment, or the issue of today is how freedom and free love and intimacy, free love and partnership is not contradiction, is complementary. And yeah, thank you for yesterday. It's also a movement for me to move from the speaker chair to this chair. It feels good. And yeah, thank you for the intimacy and for daring this step for us, also for diversitize. Diversitize our appearance, or our speakers, our thoughts. So thank you for yesterday. And before we dive into the issue of today, I want to say that we have enough questions. We got enough questions. So if you have more questions, and I guess you have, you can post them in Sutra. As far as I saw, Sutra came back to life, our study platform. So you can go there to the fifth webinar and over there to post your questions, and also to try to answer to each other. Yeah, we are such an intelligent and big group that I saw already from how also Angelique referred yesterday to the webinar, and others referred to her. I feel, yeah, we can support each other also in this way. And with this, I want to say that let's keep the chat a bit calm today. It's also feedback that we got from some of the participants in order to allow more concentration. We ask you to send private message to Joel. Joel, you can wave through Zoom, so your wave through reactions. And then you are visible for everyone on the top. Raise hand. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So this is Joel, and you can send him private messages. Behind him, you can see Yuval. Thank you both for supporting us. We also send healing to Ruth, who is now in bed, sick. So it's good that we are a big and strong team. And yes, this is what is important to know. And now, in order to bring our bodies, I invite us to give massage to our feet. Feet or feet? Feet, to our feet. Yeah, usually it's a place that we ignore, but actually it carries so much, and we take a moment of giving gratitude. And by this, we also invite all our being to participate in the next 2 hours. Our soul, our body, our mind, to come together and to be present. and to be nourished and to be loved. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. It's also quite intimate to do it together. At the beginning, we will start again with a video from Transformation Diaries. I introduced the website, the platform last week. And again, we will watch a video of Vera Klein-Ames. Last time I said she's the lover of Benjamin. I forgot to say she's the daughter of Sabine. So she's part of the family. And we'll watch another video of her under the headline, supporting the erotic being of the partner. Supporting the erotic being of the partner.
Yeah, that's me.
That's Benjamin, exactly. And we will watch it for 2.5 minutes, and directly after it, we'll send you into breakout rooms of couples, of pairs this time, and only for 5 minutes, and we'll ask you to reflect on what you just heard. Also, Joel will post this question now on the chat. Reflect on her thoughts. What did you agree? What you disagree? But first, we watch the video. Let's watch it.
I think one of the main works was to track in my heart, like, where am I actually, to come to the point where I really want that love heals, for example, and where I really want that the other one is free. And this was one of the main works, because for many years I thought, of course, I want to lead love without jealousy, and I know jealousy doesn't belong to love. But then I realized, whoa, actually I still very much believe that I do have an advantage if I play cool, if he looks at another woman, and I think I can get his attention from it. Like all these games we do, in love. And then more and more I realized I came to the point where I really want that love is healed. And then a different movement sets in. And then it's also not, it's really not about a system where you then pretend, if you are hurt or feeling shaky or fearful, to pretend everything is fine and you let the other one go. It's not an heroic act, but actually the soul has self-healing powers if we learn again to really follow the movement of the soul. Like to understand how much healing love and sexuality and creating a culture where truth is possible, again, also in this area, how much this is an essential ingredient for a healthy future for all of life, definitely awoken a big commitment inside myself. And I love this sentence of the rising movement worldwide, where they say, in a world where injustice has become law, civil disobedience becomes a duty. And there I often have this power when these old feelings set in. And if I just take a moment to think these thoughts to an end, how I would act when I am jealous, for example, and where it would lead to, I know this is not a road I want to go down. And then I really often have this moment of, okay, take a moment, really follow, where would your thoughts and actions lead to? Do you want to go down that road? And if not, to evoke the spirit of civil disobedience also to the inner structures and thoughts and actions. And this is a power where a certain pride also comes in, where I say, I'm not playing this game which destroys life. I will not be part of that, and I will gather all my forces to not be part of that game.
We move to breakout rooms in a moment. There are some with us. No, they joined after you opened the rooms. Welcome, Claudia, and welcome, Ania. We'll try to send you to a breakout room. Great. And now you can broadcast the question. No, if you did it. Hello, Claudia. You don't manage to enter to the breakout room. Sebastian Hanel in room 10 ask for help. Joel.
How can I do to get in?
Usually we assign you. This is Claudia.
Okay.
But she is in.
She's talking with us. Ah. Can you send her again?
Thank you.
Now Sebastian is alone in 10.
Yeah, put her now again in 10 or something.
How much time do we still have? Oh, it's 20 minutes.
Let's see. We have 2 minutes. No, I can stop here.
But they see the count. Claudia is back to us, and the countdown is 16 minutes.
Yeah, I can stop whenever you want. It's 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, but they see that it's 16. So
Yeah, I will send a message that there's 1 minute left.
There are others also. Sorry, Claudia, it seems that it did not work for this time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's coming back with you again.
Yeah, okay.
It's not possible to get in.
welcome.
It's a pleasure.
Weil hier sind immer noch die Zeichen, dass Sebastian um Hilfe bittet.
That's the frames on the screen. So, are we back?
14 people are back, 13 seconds.
Okay, so we wait another moment and then we are back. Did it work for you? Did you have a talk in pairs?
Me?
All of you, you can show with the hand.
We didn't have really a talk because we didn't know what was the question.
Okay. It was broadcast to the rooms and to the chat. And the question was to reflect on the video that we watched together.
Ah, yeah. Okay. I didn't see the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay. Hmm.
So Joel, you tell me when we are back. We are back. Welcome. Can we see hands from the ones to do like this if it worked for you, if you had a conversation with another person about the video that we watched? Great, good. Such a magic to know what happens there while we are here, and amazing, great, thank you. And now, having the inspiration from Vera and the inspiration from each other, maybe before I open for the questions that we gathered, I want to start with, tell us about the Love School. Where are you coming from? How is it going? What we can learn about love, what we can learn about partnership from the last days in the center of Tamara with a group of how many people? 40? 40
more,
people.
yes.
How is it?
I think you should start.
I think today I would really like to start, and I love your enthusiasm, Uri.
Mm.
And right now it's a process. I mean, the Love School is a process. And right now it would be, for me today, it would be very helpful to start with questions. And I think then I will get into the flow. That's my state.
Okay.
And I can say in short words, I feel the necessity, if we really want to step out of the system and have a system change, what it does mean to come together with time and space and figuring out this kind of social surrounding it needs, that this trust and deepening in a love network can really grow. And I feel I'm very touched how deeply people share. And I also face that we in Tamara are on many levels, on so many levels, professional, active, that we have to find regularly more time to deepen those experiences, those questions. And it's a collective love body growing by doing it. And there are challenges, of course. And for me, it's also very quick coming from such an intense journey. But I'm very grateful. For me, it's like just the right moment to enter in those questions to prepare us for the next season. Yeah.
Thank you. You mentioned love networks, and I want to ask, why did you decide to hold this Love School, or why it was asked also? I think there was a specific focus in it, specific intention around love network, and if you can speak about it. What do we mean when we say love network?
Yeah, it's connected with the issue of today, that we are looking for the way where can we deepen our partnerships if we are in partnerships, and the ones who are not are nevertheless in a love network. And there is a professional part where we have our departments. And very often love partners are in different professional activities, and how to build this system where they all can share and become visible. We often say loving is seeing, or seeing is loving. And this I feel now. And I often feel if we don't give enough awareness to this, then there starts this old pattern of comparison, of competition. And then also in all the professional networks, something of worldview enters, where normally love questions should be shared and have be more awareness. And this for me is a cultural question. It will take, I think, generations until we really figure out the organization form, which is in resonance with this divine power. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's actually something for me to step in. This Love School was in the talk in Tamara for a few months now. And Sabine just described that in everyday life, we have grown much bigger and much more complex. And you might be in love with a person who is professionally involved, like even Tamara, we live together as a community, and still you don't see each other all the time. And what we tell you the whole time, that it needs a social embedment of these love questions to come to go towards healing, and not just entanglement and endless process. We are also faced with a challenge in that in Tamara. And so Sabine had to call, and many of the core carriers of the love school and the community, to say, actually, we need time to dedicate that these love networks are love networks, and not accumulation of the problems that you have in one relationship, and then you have 5, and then you have 5 times the trouble, and not. And today there's a lot of talk about networked intelligence, and in a way there are individuals, and then there's unity, and somehow networks now, as I said, functioning networks with all its complexity know so much more than individuals. But in the realm of love, where we are so deeply conditioned into couplehood in our culture, networks are a real challenge, that you open up to different lovers on different levels with different lines of content and intimacy, and all of it in principle is allowed, but all of it runs against our conditioning. So a formal permission doesn't do the trick. You need to really work this freedom in yourselves to be able to come to a place where a love network is more nourishing than one partner and not more complicated. And for that, we need space in Tamara for our culture. And the more intimate, and there I come to the issue of today, the more intimate these love relations get, the more space. I mean, if you're, you might be aroused or attracted to a person, and then you have a erotic encounter, and it's all in freedom and it doesn't create trouble. This is beautiful. But when love comes in, and there is sexual attraction and connections, and actually you want to spend time, and you want to create projects together, you want to share life, and then you have family, and then you want to share family in a love network. These are all things that really need attention and a lot of intimacy to even talk about it in an honest way. Yeah, there's so much wounding around it, and there's so much potential in it. Because, I mean, I just take a very simple thing where I experience a lot of reward or gratitude. Take a simple thing now, that I am in, not with all the different lovers, that sounds really big now, but with the different lovers of like Vera and myself, there is a sense of shared responsibility for the children we have. And that is such a different version of reality, when lovers are also coming closer and more intimately, that actually what we consider the family in normal culture is growing. It's growing with intimacy, and like Vera goes out with the children and the lover, and the children see that I accept that. And that is quite a change. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This was beautiful view, a beautiful window that you opened now, also for the where Tamara is, and also where you are. Thank you. And Vera spoke in the video about the civil disobedience of deciding for peace, deciding not to go into the path of jealousy or fight. And I also thought, in the culture of busyness, it's also civil disobedience to protect spaces and time for bringing healing and making sure that we are doing our work, our inner work. So thank you for creating this.
Can I say one more thing to that?
Yes.
Because the title of the seminar is really big, Learning to End War. And actually, in my experience, it is only a split second where you make the decision. But to make that right decision in the split second, you need space and time to reflect and be with you. In a turbulent and emotionally challenging situation, you don't know what's going on. And it's true, if you go deeper, you know which decision is war and which decision is peace, or which is love and which is separation. But you need space. You need space to be with you and to let the first emotions pass through, and then take the right decision. And this is why it's about learning to end war. Yeah.
Thank you. We have a question. We have a lot of questions. The questions are clear, like you can post them in Sutra, you can send them to Joel, but yeah, the questions of today are clear, and yeah, we will start them now. Anthony Camps Garmont, are you with us, Anthony? And can you bring your questions? Your question.
Hello, yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm from Spain. My English is not very good. Yeah. I have here another screen where I use the translator and I start to speak, yeah, with the people. Because in other topics is more easy to speak a fluent English. When you speak in a more deep topics, it's a little bit more difficult, have the vocabulary. I have here my question is, if we are talking about intimacy, commitment, freedom, I have no different capacities of acceptance in different people. For example, living intimacy and commitment with a person who accepts freedom, every thought she does not want to know what his partner is doing. In other situations where what happened is shared with your partners. And some people, sometimes the partner want to share the situations of freedoms in love, and sometimes the partner accept but don't want to share, don't want to speak with truth about what happens, about what you feel, about at what point you reach, at what point you arrive with that person. In other cases where superficial relationships with other people are accepted and jealousy is generated by the deep ones, my question is, what mechanism can we activate to maintain the commitment with our partner with whom we pace the period of novelty, of amazement? I don't know how is the pronunciation of this.
Amazement.
Amazement, which we find a new partner within the freedom that we give ourselves with our main partner.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if it's clear or no.
It's clear, and I will say it again.
Thanks.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing another accent. Yeah, I also have Israeli accent, German accent. I celebrate the Spanish accent and language. So yes, so it's actually two questions. One is what I understand from Anthony about diverse capacity in accepting freedom and allowing freedom, and also diverse methods of how to reach it. Some say, do what you want and don't tell me. Some say, yeah, I have the capacity of whatever you do, tell me. Or some say, as Benjamin also mentioned, as long it's only for a night, it's only sex, it's fine. But if it's about love, no, this is too much. How to deal with the different capacity of different people and different methods. So this is one question.
Yes, and Uri, I did not say as soon as it is about love, then it's too much. I said then a very different challenge comes in.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but you refer to this challenge.
You're right.
Of course. And the other question was how to maintain partnership, and both of you are in a long-term partnership, how to keep the amazement, the excitement of the beginning through the years. Yeah, Anthony?
Yeah, first of all, thank you And also when you mentioned the language, for me, it's also challenging to express all those things in English because I don't feel really at home in this language. And this is a work for all of us, which is already a cultural challenge for us. And thank you the way how you shared it now. And for me, it is, I often say so simple, without studying, what is the core of love? What is the core of partnership? We often get lost in our emotions. And for me, it's, for example, we often even doubt whether love could be free. But can we imagine any love which is not free? So for me, it's the condition that we can stay in love, that we can stay in our freedom. And then to find a partner, often we decide to be in partnership much too early. So there is the first strong energy, we fall in love, one projection needs the other one, and we embrace the universe, we feel enlightened, and then we give our vow forever, or vow, and say, now we want to stay together forever. And this for me triggers a lot. I studied theology and I decided I can never be a priest because I know that they are pushed to a vow to stay together faithful, what merely no one can really hold. So the question, what is faithfulness? I don't know a method. I only know to answer this, I have to figure out how can I stay in love? And to understand what is it, often we demand love from the other one, or we find agreements, but where we are not really authentic who we are. And for me, figuring out what is love about is also figuring out who am I, again and again and again. And then we can make, and who are you? You know, in the partnership, normally in the beginning, wow, who is he? Who is she? You are so interested. After a while, I know already. And this is the killer of partnership. And for my person, I can only answer in a way that again and again, I have to check the agreements. Are they still alive? And one could maybe say we are in partnership for 1 year. And then ask again, is it still true? And for me, the deepest poison is starting to lie. But we can make an agreement where we say, I don't want to know anything. I could not do this agreement because I only can stay in a partnership wanting to know who are you and who is me. And then I made this step. I had to travel through the questions of jealousy. I had to understand if I insist in my jealousy, I have a right for this. It was the killer of love. And to understand, how can I develop myself? How can I invest in my own development that jealousy can disappear? And that I really can receive my partner with the question, how do you feel about her? And really wanting to know. This, for me, made the eros growing and growing and growing. So not that it became less, it became more. This is the question of eros in the partnership. And then I have to say, I think I would not have been faithful with my partner if we would not have common agreements. Something which connects us, where we say, this is a common goal, what we share. And this makes it possible to go through all the conflicts. And I would say, for me, it was a moment to discover that my fear of loss disappeared with the decision, I won't leave anymore. This is what I discovered in love. But we also face our shadow sides, and to learn to challenge them, to learn to also to ask for help. If we notice we cannot share this with 2 people anymore, really to invite help. And I think partnership for me is like the quicker way to enlightenment, because you will face evil, you will face shadow, you will face pain. And for me, the faithfulness is really did I see the other one? Do I really know his sacred soul, and how can I stay faithful to this? This for me is one line in the answer.
Thank you.
Okay. Hola, Anthony. Hello, everybody. To the question, how I got it, the different capacity for transparency and truth. And there's one thing you said, maybe somebody wants freedom, but the partner doesn't want to know about it. So in a way, I want to clarify just the way that how we work with the word of freedom in Tamara, because it is not in the first place the freedom to do what I want, the freedom to be with other people and am I transparent or not, but it is actually the freedom, the growing freedom from fear when we talk about free love, which is very different than, oh, I can have different lovers. And this is important when I come to the question of what you asked, the capacity for transparency. There can be an arrangement for polyamorous relationship. And I say, actually, especially on journeys, for example, you travel, you do what you want, but I don't want to know, which is good. It's more freedom, sexual freedom, than in a committed, like in a cultural conditioned relationship of monogamy, which usually then brings a lot of lies because people then travel and so you say, you do what you want, but I don't want to know. But if I am committed to freeing love from fear, this is just an arrangement with my fear, honestly. I mean, then I say, I don't want to know because I cannot handle it. Like if I then would know what you do, then I am afraid. So with it's kind of like preventing myself from feeling my fear. That's actually what the arrangement is. And please, if you have arrangements like this, don't feel too attacked by it. But in the way how we hold freeing love from fear or healing love, it's a different thing. It's an arrangement. And it actually plays into the second part of the question. The second question where you say, so how does a relationship stay alive? And in my experience, and I've been in relationship, growing into partnership with Vera, who you just saw in the video, for 24 years. Amazing. And in these arrangements, when we say like, actually, I don't really want to know what's going on for you, I can do that for some time, but actually the interest and the intimacy shrinks step by step by step, because I can say, I don't want to know what you experienced on the journey, but then I actually have a part that I don't know of her. And when that then gets more and more live, and I notice she comes back, I stay with the example of a journey or an evening. She comes back from a party and she's really alive. And I'm kind of like, I don't really want to know. I can say that a few times, but then actually we separate, we drift apart, because somewhere along the line, if I want to love her, I need to know her. And if I want to know her, I have to accept who she is. Otherwise, I am committed to my projection of her. And that is, doesn't threaten me. Yeah, but actually, the process of really wanting to know includes who is she attracted to? What is she attracted by? What is awakening her lust? What freedom does she need to feel alive? And if I manage to go that path step by step according to my capacity, then Eros stays alive. So it is connected to the second question. For a long committed relationship, to have Eros and truth and deepening with each other stay alive, I don't think the arrangement of I don't want to know what's going on for you works.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarity.
May I add one thing? Because we just had this today in the seminar where a man shared that he is since a long time in a connection with a woman where he has really deep sexual experiences. And now he fall in love to another one, mainly sexual. It was not yet the question of partnership. And then he discovered that he himself has fear to share. And this is so often from our conditioning, we think, oh, if I start to share, she will become angry or she will leave me. And here it's such a learning. It's a common learning. How can we learn to share? And how can we learn to discover that we are following fear? And by following the fear, we attract a manifestation of complication. And this is something what we can learn together, that we choose, I want to know, and by this love can grow. Yeah.
Thank you. Just continue. We have more beautiful questions. Thank you, Antoni, for bringing yourself. And the next one is Signe Noppel. S-I-G-N-E Noppel. Are you with us?
Yes,
Hello.
hello. So I guess I already got many answers to my question, but my question is
Can we ask you before, where are you now?
Estonia.
Estonia. Hello.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I'm you know wondering about how to navigate this very delicate space of deconditioning actually. And you also brought many examples and what I'm thinking about that, most of people do have like attachment traumas and they get really triggered in also when the partner stretches toward the freedom and I wonder if there can be like too fast stretches. So like basically how to take care of each other in this process, or how to do it sensitively, and because it can be also very violent if I just say that, yeah, we have an agreement, I want my freedom, and yes.
Thank you. And how do you say your name?
Signa.
Signa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Signa.
Yeah. Hello, Signa. So you already named a very important word in it. You said attachment trauma, but there are different. Abandonment, there's trauma. And there are, in my understanding, there are some agreements, not formal agreements, but getting to know that you're on the same page. And one important one in relationships, I often find that the moment when my partner does something which I don't like and I'm triggered, and then I start, it is because she did something. And in most cases, it's almost like a precondition that I accept that it most of the time has very little to do what she is actually doing. She leaves and I'm triggered, and she might actually, it's only my idea that she is with somebody else, and I'm triggered. And all of that, what goes on then, is actually has nothing to do with her. And that is like, if we are on the same page with that yes, we all carry trauma, but this is not love, and this is not our relationship, then actually a lot of it falls away. It doesn't fall away as in, oh, we are just free, but it falls away from the conflict of you and I, because we both have to tend to wounds. Yeah. And in a way, that's a very different base than blaming the other for my pain. And which is actually a very profound criteria in my understanding for partnership, to say actually we are on a path of healing love together, and we stay on that. And when we are both triggered, we will not put it onto each other, but we give each other space and support each other, but also from other people. We allow space and support for healing the old trauma. Otherwise, it becomes impossible, because we become, yeah. And then you asked about the stretch for freedom. And again, I say, usually we mean that we are allowed to do what we want, different things that trigger the other. And again, I say the freedom, the most important freedom is the freedom from fear. So it's a healing path. Freedom is a healing path because I am not free. There's this beautiful song of Stevie Wonder. Very few people are free, but I'm working on it. So this is important. And then in a community, in a group, many times we have to support each other and like facilitate change and liberation. To say like, look, dare to say the truth, dare what you're really attracted to. And in a circle, I would say community, but in a circle that works on healing love, there is also the opposite. There's also very clearly, wait a second. Now, right now, it is not for you to jump to the next one and the next one and the next one, but it is actually to slow down. Don't overstretch it. Go as far with your freedom and liberty as trust grows, which is a very different commitment than I do what I want. So in a way, when you are with other people, you need to allow communal navigation. That's not just my decision what I do, but actually somebody else says, look, Benjamin, yes, it's good that you speak the attraction, but right now, maybe it is about staying together because you have to tend to a wound. Yeah. And then it becomes very delicate in the concrete place. So this is general, but in the concrete place, it needs wisdom and knowledge and love to then navigate in a healing way. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, maybe just to add, it's a very important point because we so often speak from truth, and just to notice from which space is it coming when I want to speak truth. And truth can be very hurting if it's not coming from compassion. And so in this thing, I would say, for example, if you really have a certain longing, check inside of yourself of whether this would make yourself very happy, make other one happy too. So for example, if I suddenly feel attraction to another man and I know he is in an intimate partnership, I would look, if I act now, can I support that she is happy with this? So that you always have the surrounding in your heart. And this is a learning. And I think I do it since a long time, the practice that I always check what is steering myself now. And then I notice even 30 times in the day, or maybe even more, you feel, wow, now I'm driven by fear. And this is the trauma in a way, where we all are living in. We are living in a hypnosis of fear of loss. We don't have this deep, deep trust that love will stay forever. And so when I notice I'm in a reaction, or I'm starting to be in anger, or just to hold in, be silent and look, what is it about? And then there is also another part in us, and this is something what never was heard. This healthy part, and we also name it the entelechale Gestalt. It's the inner
higher self,
the energy which makes us grow, the energy which always is orientated towards healing, and to come in contact with this. And from there ask, what is the right speed? How can I act? And partnership, I think, is always connected with compassion. And so you can say, I feel now that I have the wish to open our monogamy, but then I wait what kind of resonance comes. And then if the partner says, please, this is too quick for me, then let us figure out together, when is the right moment? When do you feel safe? But also, if we always hide our real longings, it will destroy the love. For me, this was my first experience in my partnership. I was always full of the dreams of free love. And my partner was very, very, very jealous. And I always thought, okay, it will come later, or I gave up my own truth. And then I noticed there was a moment where I could not love anymore. And so it's really also important to stay with your own truth, with your own love, and from there stay in love to what you saw. And I think free love, for example, I know partners, they are choosing a celibitarian path together. And coming to Tamara, they first time questioned it and said, wow, in this eros, maybe we should open it. But then they said, no, our commitment is celibitarian love, but not making an ideology out of it. So yeah, in this sense, I think it's about compassion and sharing truths and learning to share truths together.
Thank you.
You would like to add?
Please.
Mhm. Yeah, because we both spoke very much now in the direction of being cautious and sensitive with each other. And I'm with it. This is really important on a healing path. And at the same time, our conditioning is quite solid. So it also needs a jump, and it needs a revolutionary spark to really dare something and to be really aware whether I say, look, please slow down with my intention of healing, because please slow down can also become a power hold. You know, I'm so hurt, don't do anything. I'm so hurt. And this will lead, at a certain point, she will need to leave me because I am playing a game. And as I said, to truthfully say, look, please don't go now. I need you now. This is okay and acceptable, our healing. But if I keep doing that, it's tricky. It's tricky. And then it needs other people to say like, look, Benjamin, yes, and don't insist on your trauma because you make her prison. Yeah. So never a clear recipe, always in contact with the situation.
Not a recipe. And I hear again and again through your answers something that I can say, a compassionate radicality. To stay radical, to stay committed to changing the structure, changing the culture, and to do it from compassion, with commitment to peace. Also how Vera talked in the video, civil disobedience to peace. Yeah, usually civil disobedience, we think about smashing the system. No, civil disobedience from the commitment to peace. So I like this line. Thank you. Thank you. Signa. And now, Alana, are you with us, Alana?
Hello, I am John. Alana is a partner and is not present right now and asked if I could read their question.
Great.
And this question is completely has to do with, is relevant to our situation right now. So I'm going to read Alana's question and then add a little detail from my perspective. So Alana says, my love and community partner, John Borrow, that's me, will be there and said he would be able to read it for me. Okay, the inquiry. I would like to hear you talk about polarization in attachment relationships, ways to navigate when people have incompatible or divergent needs. Specifically, when one partner needs space and distance in order to regulate their nervous system and heal depletion, and the other experiences fears about space and is asking for new commitments in order to regulate. So yes, that being the situation, Alana asking for space, me feeling very threatened and unstable, and feeling like, wanting some partnership agreement even to have that space. And this is in the context of also like purchasing land together and me feeling like I need more stability or agreements in the relationship that are kind of going against the way that Alana wants to like express eroticism and their polyamory in the world. And we've gotten very polarized, it feels like, on almost every issue, just listening to this talk this morning, which is really great. But I find myself really hearing the parts of the talk that kind of support my side of like the argument, so to speak, and I imagine them hearing like the other parts. And this is how we've been really locked in engagement for a while now.
I think you are just now deepening what we spoke about before. It's just now which kind of practice can we choose? And if you, in those situations, are only two, it's very, very challenging. It's not easy to give an answer from outside, because in those moments, if we are in community, we can say, let us meet regularly. Let us take the time to really deeply listen and to figure out what is really the next common step. I think there are moments where one can notice, wow, we had a beautiful time together, and maybe now it's a moment where we are no partners anymore. But even then, it's important to share it in love and compassion, and not to nourish the trauma and the pain. And to do it together as two persons, often we give water to the pain. And so if you have someone who can hold you, I would give this as a first advice. And then if you don't have someone at the moment and really are only you two, we make sometimes something like the Buddha game, where you have a bell and you start to express your longing, and the other one doesn't interrupt, so that you really can share for 5 minutes or longer, and then ring the bell and really listen to the other one. So for me, to figure out what is the best step now for the next moment is the readiness to really deeply listen to each other. And from there, figuring out a next agreement or a next decision. So much I can say now from far. But I know that in the community, it very often comes to those situations. And this is for me, for example, I would always say polyamory without a whole study space or a common commitment where a group comes together to support each other. I would always say go slow, because if not, we jump into the experiences, and often then there is a lot of pain afterwards. So yeah, this is a trust building moment, which is very important and needs a vessel. Yeah.
So first of all, congratulations on your self-perception, that you gather your arguments from our talk and already accept that she will gather theirs, you said, I believe theirs. So congratulations on that self-perception. And it is what we already talked about quite a bit. And for me, the question is, or the counsel, the advice, no, actually, that's clear for me. I would say in a situation like this, where trauma meets trauma, or one person says, it's actually not trauma, it's just my freedom, and the other says, I'm getting triggered. In that situation, I would be very slow with land, projects, children, because I mean, my commitment to the path of healing love is that I see that there is no outer compensation that can compensate this inner fear point. And there's only a path of healing I commit to, that then makes children and land and all the dreams that we have in common possible. And I say that because the system that now you say land. Now, if you buy land together, that's not really a catastrophe, except that buying land is a problematic, but it's not a catastrophe. But if you think that further, that for this pain, the inner pain of separation, love, and abandonment, we created a worldwide system of compensation. And if you look at that, then this is always part of my motivation to say, no, actually more important than buying a piece of land together or creating this project together is actually joining forces to heal love. And when it comes to children, then it's actually the most sensitive, because there are millions of children born from a place of compensating a lack of trust and true bonding in partnership. I mean, the stories that actually we were just about breaking up and then it happened, they are countless. And the result is rarely good for the children, also not for the relationship, but also for the children. So in a way, you say you want commitment and not space, but give yourself the space for the healing you need before you put more pressure on it. Because realizing your dreams together without establishing that base, I have not seen it work. So in a way, now I talk to you, John, and not Alana, your question, allow yourself the space for the healing you need. Don't say like, oh yeah, she wants more space. But actually, well, there's probably a place where you need space for your healing. And I just come from a summer this year where for the first time in 20 some years, I took 7 weeks by myself because I know the level I've come in the community, but also in my partnership, in my work, but also in my partnership, needs a level of self-acceptance, which I can only give myself. So I just encourage you to find that space where you tend that wound and grow with it and can harvest the fruits of that growth together with Ilana or together with somebody else. This I cannot say, but do it for yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. And I feel it's not by it's not by accident that it's you bringing the question and make yourself vulnerable. And I see also the encouragement, how it touches other people. So yeah, thank you for bringing yourself and revealing. And as Babette said before, also, I feel it's the beginning of enlarging the vessel, of using us and using more loving eyes to allow more space for your love. So thank you.
Can I say one more thing? You saw Vera, and one of our friction points many times is that she has such a long arc in love. And I say that because saying now I want truth is disturbing our relationship. It might be very true for the moment, but in the long arc, truth is the only solid foundation that I found and that I also can envision for something solid enough to heal this wound inside. So a lot of the friction when she says, yes, the moment, but the long arc of healing love, I had to learn to deal with that and give the healing arc much more time and space inside, instead of saying, okay, fulfillment now. And yeah, it's a generational work to heal love. And if I invest in it, I also will profit from it, but not from like, I invest now and get it back now, but a much larger story of healing.
Thank you. I see Francie with us, and I want to continue to you, one of our elders. And it's also a question, and it's also a sharing from your story. And I think it's a very inspiring story that I invite you to bring to us.
Thank you. I had a true love and soulmate who died 3 years ago. And since then, I've been practicing holding the world as my partner. Up until now, I've not wanted to enter into a primary relationship after my husband died. I do have a lover whom I chose because he was already in a primary relationship. He's polyamorous and very true and honest about it. And it made me feel safe that he wouldn't want to become primary partners with me, only friends and lovers. The three of us have a nice friendship with lots of generosity and spaciousness, but I'm definitely in a secondary position. Sometimes I yearn for the anchoring that a partnership commitment offers, especially as I get older. Do you think that humans are naturally drawn to partnership, to partnering, or am I merely being influenced by the conditioned culture around me that implies that a person isn't a whole person without a partner?
Thank you.
I mean,
So, thank you for the question. And it's again a situation that you described, that your husband passed, he died. Now you have a friend, and all these are different steps where a new step of trust building and friendship grows. If you would have community around, it's much more easy not to ask this question. I think that we have this question of partnership is also because there is a big society and then there is nearly nothing. And I think when I remember when I was young, I really thought you have to have a partner. If you don't have a partner, you are not complete. And then I discovered, wow, this is a deep conditioning. And I had to learn, who am I in love in connection with the universe? And there it's again and again for me such a learning. If I notice, I really believe that in the center of the universe, there is universal love guiding us, then life will give me the offers. And this can be a time of partnership. This can be a time of, I think loneliness is not the right word, because you are never alone if you are in trust to the universe. And to feel complete as a woman, for example, without a partner, this means to leave a lot of conditioning behind. Nevertheless, I discover that all human beings, maybe it's like a mirroring of the universe, that one has the wish to deepen with someone. And I remember when I was young, I had the picture, I want to have 3 partners. This was my picture, and then maybe some lovers. Now I would say, wow, no, in this deep, deep partnership, I was only able to go with 1 person. More went over my capacity. Even that I have had friends for special aspects where I also went deeper. For me, there is no general answer. Life will give the answer. And I'm grateful how much you share this, where you are at. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you also for a lot of self-knowledge spoke from the way you asked, and even the little smile on, I'm definitely in the secondary position. Just, it seems like you have been working with this stuff quite a bit, so thank you for that. And actually it can bring something in that Uri wished so much, current work in the love school. One thing is, there seems to be magic with the number 3. I also had the same wish. Like if I allowed myself, I thought 3 partners, yes. And then I came to the same process, like Sabine just said, actually, I don't even have capacity for 1. How can 3 be? And right now, this is still in my soul. And I see that this is with quite few people, just 3 people. Whatever the mystical spiritual reason might be of this trinity that my soul needs to be complete, I think there is something to it. And right now I'm focusing a lot, and also in the running love school, on dismantling the conditioning of partnership. And when we say partnership, most of the time we mean a committed relationship that we can totally rely on. And what I'm focusing much more on right now is actually, what do I mean with it? What needs need to be met? And I come to looking into partnership as a quality, which is, yes, I need people in my life around with different intensity, with different sexual involvement, with children, with projects. And partnership in a way as a quality is, we will stick through that no matter what. And this is something that calms my soul down a lot. And it calms my soul down even more if it is not just with 1 person on 1 issue, but it is actually with, here you don't have that, but in the old days and where we need to go, it is a commitment in community, tribe. Community is a modern word, but in our bones, in our bone marrow, and like deep in ourselves, we need this belonging in a tribe. Otherwise, we call everything we need partnership, and it doesn't work out too well. And so, in a way, if my fixation on partnership and that she will provide everything I need, I can soften that and look onto the real needs, because, like, feeling safe in community, growing older, it's not just my partner, it's a whole tribe that is needed for that. Having the freedom and the possibility for staying alive with Eros, it's not just my partner, it's a need, but what kind of commitment do I need with different people? So a lot of distinction is needed for that. Yeah. And now you said it, and Sabine already said it, and there is a big part of feeling not complete as a person, which is conditioning. And definitely as a woman, not to feel complete without a man is a lot of patriarchal conditioning. So a lot of deconditioning work. But I also want to say there is a very vulnerable and I feel true point where I don't want to put my spiritual autonomy to not touch a point where actually for this communion of masculine and feminine, for this fusion of two souls into one, I need somebody else. Otherwise, I come to the safe place of spiritual autonomy that I don't need anybody, but that's not the desire of my soul. The desire of my soul is to be safe even in this vulnerable place of needing somebody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the depth and the inspiration and the glimpse of new culture that we touched in this time. And I also recognize that we sit a lot, and Ben, I invite us to stand up, not to look to the screen, to take a break and to stretch our body, to stretch the neck, the shoulders, the butt, the fingers, the eyes. Whoever need to pee now, it's good time. It's a bio break. So we gave attention to the body. We drink water. And we prepare ourselves in a minute to come into breakout rooms, shorter than in the last times. This time it will be 10 minutes. And the question is to reflect on the last hour that we shared together. Joel will post now the question on the chat and also broadcast it to the rooms themselves. You will be in triplets in the room, and it will be for 10 minutes. And then we'll have half an hour to share again, to hear from you, to reflect. But for now, we want to make sure that you have time also to share with each other. So are we ready, Joel? Are you ready? Participants, friends, students, some of the frames are empty. Maybe people are in their bio break, but they will join. Yes, stay with patience in your breakout rooms till your partners, the other half, the one that will make you complete will come. So good luck and enjoy. See you in 10 minutes. Yes, yes.
Hi, Roger. Hello. Good evening. Yeah.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Wait.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
And
I think we all are in one big breakout room. Together.
Buongiorno.
This is one big
Who starts
breakup group.
talking?
Buongiorno. Buonasera.
Beautiful faces.
Sind wir unmuted? Können wir reden?
Unmuted. Mute and camera off.
5 seconds.
Yuval, rain again. I can also do it.
Welcome. Welcome back. It's always a moment of curiosity to imagine what happened in, I don't know, 30 rooms. I can imagine a lot shared and processed, and now we want to have the time to continue this process, or to hear in the big vessel a little bit of your insights, of the questions that you stayed with, not so much putting questions to Sabine and Benjamin, but to bring your own experience. Where does the subject, the insights, the issues that we went through today, where does it touch you in your life? So it's also an opportunity for you to show yourself and to get our support, our loving support. So the next half an hour is for insights, frictions, disagreement, enlightenment, sharings, and whoever have the calling, and especially the shy one, I invite to dare to go to the reactions in the bottom of the Zoom and to raise your hand. So we have the overview of all the people who would like to share. And we start with Bibi.
We don't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you about that. Yeah, I in the breakout room we did share how I had an experience recently. I moved to my partner's land, and it's been a very intense experience actually to be suddenly like just alone, and it brought up a lot of our attachment stuff and a lot of our of our challenges, I guess. And what well, we experimented with plant medicine, with lots of relational tools, with processes, and nothing really helped. But then quite recently we went to a community gathering, and I had an opportunity to, well, not only be with very close friends, so it's a community of sex positive people, where there's a lot of polyamory and shadow work and sort of very a high level of consciousness, and just to be exposed to that sort of settled both of our nervous systems in a place where we could I guess meet each other in a different way, and through that even dive more into sensual explorations with other people, which was quite, sort of that. But what I think stays with me from the sharing is the importance for slowness and tenderness. And in regards to that, maybe I did share a question in the chat, and I don't want to bring the question, but maybe a deepening where my edge is right now, or what I notice in myself. I'm bisexual, and always had this vision of having the freedom to be with other women that are also my friends sexually, as well as in a friendship way. And it's a very new thing for my partner. And so I think because of my own lack of knowing where to set those boundaries, like who is a friend, who is a sexual lover, as a woman, like how to navigate that, I stopped seeing women for now, And there my voice goes. Yeah, and I just recognize through this conversation that that I run the risk of, or like that it's a fine act of balance between slowing things down enough and also staying true to self. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that. Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will keep it as it is, honoring your sharing. Thank you. And we continue. We see a lot of hands, and we continue with Larissa.
Hello. I'll put it now to gallery so I can see all of you. I come with an incredible tenderness in my heart and a kind of pressure and a ball of energy here where my power center is, and it's because so much of what I heard here today touches a personal story of the last partnership that I was in. One that was promised, the projection of it promised all my longings to come true. And there's something so tender about putting the pieces together in such a way to help me understand just what it is that happened. I think I had the individual components, but I see them now as a whole. You know, this grand projection of who we might be, then the hurt and the withholding and the lies about what we were really feeling, or what he was really feeling, and what I truthfully in myself didn't want to see and didn't want to know about. I wasn't curious because it was so painful to see my partner this pained, and it was painful to be with the triggers that came up in me about this confinement that I began to feel. I agreed to end a partnership that I had to focus in this relationship. I agreed to a year of monogamy to help build trust. I heard the pleas for 5 years of monogamy. I heard, don't marry me unless you know it will just be the two of us forever. And it was so big and beyond what I could ever agree to that I sort of shelved it, and it poisoned it underneath. And now I'm with this, what I'm here left with now in this piece. It's, Sabine said, to feel complete as a woman without a partner, a lot of deconditioning needs to happen. And what it is to be safe innerly with myself, even though I know this longing for true partnership lives here fully. And so that's where I am now. And I'm equal parts willing and equal parts, but why must it be this way? The longing is so great. And so the tenderness in my heart is just to speak, yeah, what it is maybe now to be on this path. Yeah. Thank you for your witness.
Thank you for the tears and for the insights, for the strength that I feel that you gained from this witnessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. Yeah, for one feels the pain, what is not only your pain. And I want to say one sentence, but by seeing it now more from more different perspectives, the healing is not over. So really asking your higher self, what does it want to lead me to? And don't give your longing up. Not the projection we have to understand, but the deepest longing, if we stay truthful with, I think will guide us. So just to say this, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I invite Martina.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to share a little bit of personal experience. I've been for 20 years so far in a monogamous relationship with my partner. I'm 34, so we started really early, out of, against all odds, because since I was very young, I had exactly the same feeling that Sabine shared with us, that love grows when shared, that I wanted to explore, expand, and touch as many souls and bodies and hearts. But in some ways, I was really deeply attracted on so many levels by this person. And so in this very long span of time, since I was 14 up to now, we kind of navigated different relationships because we have been growing up and changing. And I've been studying abroad. I've been for a long time away, but I was always called back in some ways to him. And I knew deeply in myself that in order for this relationship to grow and to produce what it was meant to produce, I had to stay monogamous because this was where he stayed at the time. Even though my attraction to other souls was a constant, has always been a constant in my life. And at some point, there came a time when I fell deeply in love with another man. And at that time, it was impossible for me to hold it inside. And so I opened up, and I know today that it was too violent, especially after listening to all the good practices that you shared. And it's, in some ways, what I wanted to share with you is that this opening up helped my partner to dive deep into the darkest depths of his fears and also traumas and also very, very, very ancient memories. And so after that, everything kind of exploded in our lives. We were literally shaken. And what happened in the end is that staying true to our bond and staying true to our commitment, we managed to find healing. We are still in the process, but I'm telling this because I know that this violence, this one way, how to say, this thing that happened because of my decision and that was not agreed, in some ways helped him to accept the change, to accept the healing process. Whereas if I would have stayed, in the place of safety, if I would have kept him in this bubble of you are safe with me, I am truthful to you. And so I think that it wouldn't have been possible for him to step out of the fear. And this I'm bringing to you because I think that as a feminine collective, we have a push towards shaking the foundations of being, how to say, in the safe bubble. So that's all. Thank you for listening.
So now we are mainly listening to you, but And now the way you shared, what's your name? Martina encouraged me. I wanted to say it before, two more aspects when we spoke before about caution and with self-responsibility. And one you named very beautifully now. And that is, yes, I have to be sensitive to my partner. And there is a point where I also have to be really aware whether I keep her small through my caution. Because really, there is like in everybody, and in my partner, there is a wounded self and a not wounded self. And when I always looking, yes, you need sensitivity and I'm careful with you, I also don't encourage the big person to step forward. And I say that especially to men, because it feels so much more comfortable to be sensitive with your partner because she is wounded than to actually say, no, actually, yes, she is wounded, but there's a strong woman in there as well. And that is what I put my light on. So thank you for the story you shared. Yeah.
Thank you. Where are you, Martina?
Because me and Uri, we met in the last webinars for Raising Free Children. At the time, I was in a eco-village in Puglia, a Giardino della Gioia, but then we moved south and we are now in a very big place where there is a laboratory of community, always in Puglia, but more south, down south. And it's really interesting. It's many energies coming together and mixing, and it's beautiful. And at some point, I think we will arrive in Portugal. I really wish to visit you all.
Okay.
And give a real hug.
Thank you. Okay, we continue with Garrett.
Hello, I'm Garrett, and I'm in Canada on Salt Spring Island on the West Coast. I live with Larissa, one of my housemates and friends. My heart's racing so fast right now, so I must be doing the right thing. I wanted to share a reflection, and I'm in a monogamous relationship and have been for the past 2 years. And we've experimented with polyamory at the beginning of our relationship and also in past relationships. And through these sessions so far, I've have more acceptance that is right for us right now. And just accepting the social architecture that we have available in our community and our life, which is not Tamara, it's not an intentional community, it's not village without form or anything like that. And so I'm leaving with more acceptance of that and like a feeling of that is right. And also with a sense that like a few forward actions for us or forward things within the social architecture that we have is to share more transparently with each other about longings and attraction for others, or like desires or fantasies, or like these kinds of things that, you know, were talked about today that kind of kill eros, kill love, or create withdrawal or disconnection in these ways. So I'm leaving with that as a forward thing that we can do. And I'm also leaving with a greater touch of grief in what we talked about on the collective trauma day of, you know, what it meant. I think Benjamin said it, that something we all share in common is at some point in our ancestry, we were torn away from our tribes and indigenous cultures that were deeply connected with the earth and each other and this kind of thing. So I'm leaving with a greater touch with that grief, and also still a longing and a gradual patient moving towards village and community in my life, or for my you know, my future generations. So those are just some reflections to share that I've gotten from this. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to your beating heart. It's great. And Derek, because you talked quite a lot yesterday, I want to take some other contributions and to see if we have time. Thank you. Kelly, we are with you.
Hello, thank you. Yeah, I'm just wondering, I mean, I think Garrett maybe said it all, but just, I think it's the Buddha who said, once awake, you can never sleep comfortably again. And I feel that, and I feel the grief of that in the sense that I don't live in Tamara. And so how do I hold these truths in one hand? And how do I live my life in joy and acceptance of what is? And so, yeah, whether there's words, Benjamin or Sabine, to speak, to offer some sort of solace, peace, comfort to us who can't live with you, and who don't live in a place where there's people who are necessarily doing this work and don't have the means to move. One of those places now, what is the blessing or the prayer, the solace for us out here? And so much love and gratitude for the way you're living. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say, don't project too much happiness to Tamara. It's really work. We have to go through a lot of stuff to hold the vision. And for me, this is important that often people say, yeah, you have community, we have not. I think it's important to notice that we are always in community. Wherever we are community beings. And from there, deeply figure out what can inspire you, what can you take as your next step in your life. And even if we won't fulfill all our longings, I don't fulfill all my longings in this lifetime for sure, but I stay faithful to them. And for this, I have the generations after us in my heart, yeah, so that we all can be or become midwives towards a new culture where the grief, that this tribal wisdom was so destroyed, that we can participate in healing, because the earth is in an emergency call and she needs us, and everybody can check, where am I at and where can I support? And thank you for what you said about this awakening. It's also awakening to the pain, what we have to face, but by compassion, also the energy grows that we can, our heart grows. Thank you.
Very, very similar. And I will add my voice because I had the impulse before you asked for it. I wanted to say laughingly, know that this grievance of what we know somehow inside could be, and how it is meant to be and how it is not solved in Tamara. And actually there comes something, I actually feel it is growing because of our time. There is more awakening inside how it could be, just the potential. At the same time, while there's so much of the whole overall system is still running in a direction which it tears apart the heart. And this is not to take away, to forget the gratefulness of my privilege to be in Tamara, intentional community, dedicated, all of that, yes. And I feel it's part of our time. It's like the thing that really comforts me is to feel the pain in the understanding what the pain avoidance creates, the damage, the numbness that our habit to avoid it creates. And then I say, okay, yeah, that's painful to feel, that's grief that I carry. But actually, if we want to still move a new way, we have to feel it. We have to grieve that discrepancy of what could be. And then know that it will be sooner or later.
Thank you. Kamala Devi, our friend from ISTA, visited here also with two friends. You can unmute yourself and share. Good to see you.
Thank you. This is my partner, Michael.
Hello.
Of 20 years. And we met because of an event that Adam was offering. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And one of the things that I'm seeing in your reflection is how relationship, like my relationship to Michael, my relationship to Adam, we're on the same team healing love, so that sometimes it feels like it's, you know, me versus him, or we're, you know, bumping heads, but that deep reflection that, hey, we're here to heal love, and that's part of what our partnership's about. So instead of opposing each other, we're looking together towards, you know, the center, which is putting love at the center and working towards that. So I see that in your reflection, and, you know, it touches me to know that that work, when it's done with two or smaller groups, or even, you know, in Tamara, that community has its own culture. Like, so ISTA, the International School of Temple Arts, in its research of love, has created its own culture. And that still has its blind spots. So now they're collective blind spots, right? And they start to break down. So I'm really touched by this invitation to a network of love and lovers who can exchange medicine. And, you know, it's not just community now pointing out individual blind spots, but subcultures pointing out other subcultures' blind spots. And seeing that helps us get a much wholer picture of, you know, what's broken in love. Yeah, so I touched because I feel that Tamara has, as far as I've seen, the best connection between personal trauma and collective trauma. And, you know, even today, as we're talking more personally about, you know, personal relationships, it's easy to get blind into, oh, this is my personal pain. And Tamara always seems to hold it in a bigger collective container. And I want to bring more of that both to ISTA, but more of it to the world, because it when we get too personal, it fractures and it pathologizes. And then holding it in the bigger container is where the healing is.
Yeah. Wow. Good to hear. Great.
Thank you so much. Wow. And I want to update you that yesterday we asked who is living in intention communities, and we had maybe 10 examples. Neot Smadar and Cambion in Austria. Neot Smadar is in Israel. Sabine in Germany, a group of 12 people coming together. So this picture of communities mirroring each other, it's touching a deep longing of new culture, of not only growing through seeing each other as individuals, but as communities.
Yeah.
Also, this picture of seeing three of you together is also a beautiful image. Thank you for bringing yourself like this.
Thank you.
And our last contribution will be from Luis Fernando.
Hello. Hi, we are here from Honduras, Central America. I'm sharing this space with my partner. She is Mylène from France. We are in a relationship. And yeah, I just want to express my gratitude for this opportunity. You know, for sure you're aware of our cultural conditioning in this part of the world. And it's not easy to resonate or to talk about this depth on these topics. So just expressing my gratitude for the way that I found you, Tamara, in the project, and how your content and your wisdom, your knowledge, it's been creating a movement in my mind, and for sure, all the perspectives and opinions of the people participating in the different webinars so far. It's just inspiring, and definitely a lot of work to do in the personal level and in every relationship, not just a romantic relationship, or, you know, in the different levels. So grateful, and yeah, happy for this short chance to to be listened and to share a few words with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just to give to say it's nourishing us to hear your feedback, and it's holding this vision that on this globe, decentralized community wisdom will help to survive and to build a culture of peace. And so it's very great to hear these different global voices where every aspect is different, but nevertheless we have a common dream. Yeah.
And in this point, I want to introduce our daily poll to ask you for feedback for this Zoom call. 1 is terrible and 5 is fantastic, and Joel is now posting the poll. Number 2, it's not a poll, it's supposed to be for the chat. But you can also do it, yeah? Write in the chat 1 word that describe how do you feel now. So we gather some flowers like hopeful, spacious, light, beautiful, inspired, connected, love party, grounded, inspired, heart open, tenderness, moved, common goal together, wanting to network more, belonging, open, appreciation, moved, challenged, activated, something lost, something inspired, happy, patient, clear, okay, and much more. And yeah, thank you for the poll. And thank you for bringing yourself. Thank you for the tears that we shared in this time. Thank you for the heartbeats that we shared. Thank you for all what was not shared. Yeah, I see faces also who didn't contribute, and I feel connected with all of you. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Babette. Tomorrow, we will have our last webinar, and the question will be why sensual love, why sensuality needs to be anchored in the universe. So we'll open with the universe, with spirituality as an anchor for free love. I think it's a beautiful ending to look to the universe. And you can post your questions in the section of the 6th webinar. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Thank you very, very much. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye from Berlin.
That kid's the cute one.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Very much. Bye, everybody.
Much love.
Bye.